I'm in Chicago at Bank Directors' annual Bank Audit and Risk Committees conference, and this morning I had the pleasure of welcoming more than 300 attendees to the Palmer House. This was a really diverse crowd that we were able to bring to Illinois. It represents more than 150 banks from 33 different states. I opened the sessions this morning by looking at the number of banks that are over $1 billion in terms of who has established a risk committee relative from 2014 back to 2012. In 2012, we saw less than 20% of these banks had established that type of board committee, whereas now nearly 70% of them have this. I thought that was an interesting development, and it certainly reflects the changing regulatory nature that banks are dealing with today. Now, we talk about public and private and the size of an institution and most of the things that we discuss at Bank Director. But I did find that the world is relatively flat when it comes to cybersecurity, and hackers and felons don't really care if you're the biggest of the big or the smallest of the small. And as board members, you have an obligation to think about what your risk appetite is as you start to introduce new products and services that might ultimately become attractive for a cyber thief to pursue. Now, that lines up with the duty of loyalty and the duty of care that most board members have come to expect and certainly shoulder as a responsibility. But I'm hearing that the regulatory body is starting to look at safety and soundness as a primary fiduciary responsibility at the board level. I think that puts a little bit of tension and conflict between what most directors think their role is with what the regulatory regime might be thinking about. Now, the final piece to today's sessions that I wanted to touch on looks at establishing a risk appetite. We had Cy Huda from FIS come in and share some of the trademarks of a strong performing bank and a strong performing board. And I think he said it best when he mentioned that everything starts at the top. You start with the board and senior management really articulating what it is that they want to accomplish, and then looking at the various lines of defense within an organization to ultimately implement what the board has set as a strategic goal. So a lot of different conversations, audit concerns, risk management issues, but at the end of the day, great discussions, and I'll be coming back with more later on tonight.